G'day everyone, SDS SuperCoach here, and welcome to the second Good Friday live stream that I've done on the channel. And we're doing a little bit differently this year, and we've also got a couple of different guests as well. So joining me in no particular order is Freo Tragic Dan back once again. How we going, mate?
Back now.
Oh no, his Wi-Fi.
He's on that Macca's Wi-Fi.
All right, we'll start with you two as well. Joining me is SuperCoach Horse. How we going, mate?
Hey, brother. Doing well, and it's a privilege to be able to jump on and do a Good Friday stream with you and the lads. For me personally, especially having some family friends who have utilised the Royal Children's Hospital in the past and the cause that this is going towards, more than happy to jump on and promote what you're doing, mate. So great job organising this.
No problem, mate. It's a privilege to have you on. And joining me as well is Rookiecoach. How we going, Tom Stewart?
Going well. Hopefully playing this week with no gastro. So we'll see what happens. But no, absolutely buzzed to be here. Very keen. Good cause, as Horse said. Just keen to get around it. And many people that have been able to use the appeal to help really unfortunate situations. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here and get around it.
Yeah, of course. It's obviously a great cause that we're looking to do here today. So it goes more than SuperCoach. It's a very strong day for a lot of people out there. So we are just here to promote, help, talk SuperCoach, talk footy, talk trash, whatever the case may be. But there's the ultimate goal at the end of the day, and that is to raise funds for the Good Friday appeal. So one thing I'm doing differently this year is I am whatever max amount of views we get. So far that has been 8. So I'm just looking at the top left here. So I'm keeping track of the highest max viewership. Timesing that by 2, I'll be donating to the Good Friday appeal. So that would be $16 at this stage, but I know we can certainly get that up. So thank you all for tuning in. G'day Global. Hope you're doing well, mate. G'day Tic Tac Slice. Hope you're doing good. Causa, absolute legend. The ladies, man. Love your work. Love your work too, mate.
Ladies, man.
Yeah. We can't quite match his riz. So we're just striving to be like him. Happy Good Friday. Yeah. So Dan's obviously a part of this stream as well. So, but he's having a bit of Wi-Fi problems. He'll jump back on. Let's before we get into too much of what the comments are going to say, let's talk a little bit about last night's game. While it is relevant, there are a couple of things that are very SuperCoach relevant that we can talk about. I think first thing I'm going to say first of all, because I know there's a fair few people out there that can take this game very seriously. Don't let Nick Dacos ruin your weekend if you didn't bring him in. Don't let it ruin your long weekend. Have a good time.
Why do I feel like you're talking to me directly?
No. The amount of people losing it. Nah, it's all right. Here's a 28. Ask Horse to play the piano.
I've got to give Kizza a shout out. So inside the Insight channel, he's the president of our punters club, and he does a ripper job. Yeah, he was actually the one that funded the piano. So thanks, mate.
Fantastic.
All good. Yeah, we need a bit of piano action before 12:30, mate. Lads, how are we doing? Hope you're doing well, Damo.
Good bloke, Damo. Get around the
absolute legend.
I absolutely love Damo. I love his work. Hope he's doing well. Yeah, so just to talk a little bit about last night's game, there was Collingwood did it fairly comfortably against Brisbane. It was a good game to watch in the first half, but I think the main talking point SuperCoach would be the Nick Dacos' lack of attention, even though Chris Fagan flagged it before the game. How do we overall view the game in general?
From behind the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, you're too funny, mate.
I mean, as an Essendon supporter, for me, I will be the first one to say that I don't like Collingwood, but it's hard not to like the way Nick Dacos goes about it. So he's been touted in the past as being a bit soft, getting those cheap kicks and what have you. But the amount of work that guy's put in to get his body to where it's at, even though he went through the plantar fasciitis in the preseason, taking bumps like we saw, he got smashed against Cam Rayner there at one stage. He jumped straight back up, and within seconds, he's in the next chain going forward of center. So it's hard not to be a fan of not just the way that this guy goes about it and his work rate, but what he does with the ball as well, and the areas, the dangerous areas that he puts the ball into to allow his teammates to excel.
Couldn't agree anymore. It's hard. I think a lot of non-owners are going to be upset, but it's also whether you own him or not. Like, you can't not like him as a player. Like, again, as you mentioned, the vision on him, the tolerance to take a hit and get back up. And I remember seeing him put one in the forward pocket after, I can't remember who led forward, and then they wrapped back and he kicked it to that back open space. And it was just one of the cleanest plays you could ever wish for as an entry into their 50. It was beautiful. And just the vision on him, it's ridiculous. And yeah, it sucks not owning, and SuperCoach can get in the way of that, but God, you got to love watching him play.
Yeah.
He's just a beauty. Like, I know he didn't get much attention, but most of the time he does get attention every week and does find a way to fight through. Like, we literally saw him last week destroy potentially the best tagger in the game at Gather Round in James Jordan. Just absolutely smashed him from pillar to post. And Collingwood looking strong once again. I mean, just the way Dacos goes about it, it's just hard not to enjoy. So he is an absolute beauty. In terms of some of the other guys, I believe Lachie Neale was the highest scorer for Brisbane last night, SuperCoach wise. So that was good to see.
He was
Lachie
good.
Neale in a dirty day still managed to get 110, I believe, 109, something like that. So that was good. I believe Josh Dunkley as well might have had a down game.
Unfortunately. Yep.
Yeah, he was off to a strong start this season, but is might get a little bit cheaper for some non-owners to have a little crack at him, but has had a very solid start to the season. And then some of the other guys, how do we view Ned Long's game?
So I can jump in here, mate, because I'm an owner now of Ned Long. And
all right.
With my captaincy choices this year, it's a lot that's left to be desired. I haven't gone as well as Dan here with my captaincy choices, but I had to zag while everyone else was zigging, and I thought I was in the boat of waiting a week on Dacos because I thought Berry would do a job on him, and I was very, very wrong on that. So I went someone who had the role, and the role is he's an inside mid. He doesn't kick it a lot unless it's a rushed kick, but he finds room on the inside. And when you got the likes of Pendlebury, side bottom that rolls through there, Dacos, DeGoey, even when he goes through, they're your higher profile names that are going to get attention, which allows someone of Ned Long to come in who's a relative unknown and just to get those little cheap contested handballs out to the outside. And they're beautiful for SuperCoach. We saw last night again, 96, I think he scored.
Yeah, he was very strong. Ned Long, he looked a bit shaky after the first quarter. At the first quarter, but after that, he really started to fire. And I know there were. I don't know if anyone tuned into what SuperCoach God was doing. He obviously chucked the VC on him, and I'll tell you what, credit for actually doing it. He would have been happy with the Pies result. I mean, some of the others. What about Dane Zorko? Obviously, didn't. He's starting to slow up after a really strong first few weeks. But what's going on? Are they just not using him as much?
I'm not so sure about that, mate, given that like he still had 20 touches, 19 kicks. Last night, I think he fell into the trap that he did years ago when he was just a serial pest, not just for his own teammates, but against umpires when he doesn't get calls his own way. And his body language really let him down last night. So do I expect this to turn around? Yes. Would I be trading him out? No. But last night was I'd like to swear, but I'm not going to because it's your stream. But it was a stinker and he will bounce back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you look at him, and yeah, he had the 20 touches. When he did use the ball, he had moments where it was more an attitude thing than anything. His age didn't play a factor. He's not injured or anything like that. He just was in his head. He was Zorko that we knew. Like, we knew the personality that came with the pick. And we've seen it kind of diminished a little bit this season, but it's still there, and we've just kind of seen it rise its head again. So I couldn't agree with Horse. I don't think you trade him out. I think if you like him and he gets back in form, he's going to be at a great price to target. You know, if you're looking for some backups in defense as well. But it's just pure an attitude thing. I think he'll bounce back. And Brisbane didn't look overall that great either. So I think it's just one of those overall games where your main Brisbane primos just could have done a little bit more. But Lachie Neale owners would have been quite happy with a little bounce back game after a frustrating start to the season.
Yeah, very much so. And I think Nonos will look to target Lachie Neale. We always worry about the age sometimes, but he ages like fine wine. It seems he's just an absolute champion of the game. So
Yeah, he's one.
He'll become very interesting in the coming weeks. So
starting picks.
Yeah. He's been unlucky there. Obviously had a strong fixture to start the year, but didn't quite go to plan for starters. Let's have a look at a few of these questions. Look at these good-looking roosters. I mean,
I want to give a shout out to Scorched Earth. He's actually lives in New Zealand and tunes in every week. Absolute ripper bloke, him and his wife. So, yeah, shout out to our man Scorched Earth.
Shout out to you, mate. Hope you're having a good Friday. Good Friday. Who wins today, lads? Well, there's a couple of games on. Horse will see his boys in action tonight. What are we tipping thus far with these two games?
Yeah, flagged ons by 300. I like with injury comes opportunity. And I think this is a massive opportunity for Sam Draper just to be the number one ruck for the rest of the year for Essendon. And at 400K, you could nearly look at a mid-ruck 400K player if you wanted to zag while everyone else is zigging. And you know what? 95 might be, your top 8 to 10 forwards this year. So you could think outside the box and go that way if you wanted. Personally, I'm not going to, but yeah, Peter Wright coming back in as well from a footy point of view. I think it straightens Essendon up a little bit, and it gives Nate Caddy a bit of a chop out because he's been going up against your number one, your number two defenders in each side this year, and he's not physically ready for that yet. Mentally, he wants to, but physically he's not there. So having Peter Wright is going to enable the likes of Caddy and those sorts of players just to be a little bit more free. And West Coast, unfortunately, they just look a little bit off it at the moment, don't they?
Miles off it. And it'll be an interesting game tonight for the Bonbons. Draper's really I was looking more into this with Brad streaming with Brad yesterday for Throwdown Thursdays, and I saw that Essendon do have the easiest run for the rest of the season when it comes to rucks by a very lengthy margin. I believe there's only 3 difficult matchups for opposition ruckmen against Essendon. So Draper's really not the worst shout in the world, especially if they're really committed to Goldie being a ruck coach.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a smoky. Could be a play.
Yeah, so I think for who I think will win today, I'm not going to be ballsy. I think Carlton and Essendon get the job done today. Do we all agree? No? Hoping North? No? What are we going? Yeah, North. Fair enough.
North are going to win. Come on.
Freo, how's that connection going? Can you make a couple of tips?
There.
E.T. phone home.
I don't know what's going on, but everything seems to be lagging quite badly.
Nah, you're all good, mate. You're all good, mate.
I don't know if it's mine.
That's all right, Freo. We'll have you in spirit
again.
mainly for today. So you're doing good. Great to have you on the stream, mate. So yeah, I think Carlton and North's a real toss up, and then hard to see West Coast winning a game anytime soon. Causa.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, we'll touch on the North Melbourne Carlton game a little later on. We'll let you go through some questions first, mate.
Yeah, no problem. At least watching this game, was happy with Will Ashcroft not as good for Supercoach wise. Yeah, we didn't touch on that. Levi Ashcroft shone very, very well, but unfortunately, his older brother couldn't do much Supercoach wise. Is it a problem for owners?
I don't think so.
Nah,
Probably yeah.
It's just one of those games where your main players that have been really well for the start, if not most of the start, just had a down game. Like that, you can't expect like the 130s, and I know he started slowly regressing, but you can't expect that sort of high consistency all the time. We even saw the suitcase McCluggage kind of touch earth again. And he was the number one mid, which no one could have predicted at the start of the season. But he's now come back to earth as well, and only managed to score an 80, which again is not horrible. But you expect that, Will Ashcroft, McCluggage, your Zorkos and Dunkleys, they will bounce back. But yeah, the benefit of all that is we saw Levi Ashcroft absolutely just kill it, and he's probably going to be one of those rookies that stay in our team for most of the season as long as the scoring stays.
Yeah, very much so. Ashcroft has had a very strong start to the year. It's also good to see. Him fully firing. Just a little update on the viewership. The max I've seen is 34. So at this stage, I will be donating $68 to the Good Friday appeal. Tell your mates, tell your friends. 35 now, so $70. So thank you all for tuning in. $72.
I want to see you go broke, mate. I want to see a couple of hundred people in the live.
Pop those numbers up.
Yeah, mate. I'm already broke. I've just moved into my new place. Spent all my money on furniture. I'll be having 2-minute noodles for 2 weeks. No, that's all right. $72 at this stage. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Riley traded in Dacos spewing. I didn't put the VC on. I did the same as well. Just didn't chuck the VC on him. I didn't think about it. Like I was going to go VC Brayshaw into McRae, but then about half an hour before the game started, I was like, wait, hang on. I actually can't take Brayshaw's VC if I do that, because Gawn and TDK will be locked out and Boyd would be a loop. And then obviously the West Coast boys, Hall and Bo Allen, I've still got play on the Friday night. So I had to do a VC before Saturday's games, and I didn't pick Dacos. I chose Sheasel. So hopefully it goes all right today. But full credit to anyone that got in Dacos. Dacos is a weapon, elite stuff. Non-owners should have a good opportunity to get him if they want to next week at 607K. I think I saw the projection to be. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. Riley, Lockie Neal's been a frustrating own. Was good to finally see him outscore Ashcroft. Yep, my word, mate. Yeah. I know I had a few questions this week about should I trade Lockie Neal. I think we worry about getting rookies off field at this point. Lockie Neal's still a champion. You'll have him in your midfield for the whole year. So that's all right. The break evens. Hope you're going well, Corey. Jumped in to say, love your work, boys, and how good are those pies? Yeah. Worst part about today, seeing the Pies fans up and about. Oh, God, another flag coming their way. Riley, Draper just got forward status too, didn't he? He could be an interesting play. So would you guys both? So I know, Horse, you're quite interested. Rookiecoach, do you find Draper interesting at all?
Look, I'd be lying if I said I haven't tested him in the team just to see how it looks. And it looks kind of nice. Again, it's that you're really optimizing for value. Yes, there's a bit of risk involved, but as you said, like when you hear the name, this is kind of what I've been noticing around the communities. You hear the name Sam Draper at F6 and it sounds disgusting. it doesn't fit well. But if you ignore the name and you just look at the run, you look at the stats, the main ruck role, kind of hard to ignore that it actually could be a play that works out. My issue is if it doesn't work out, he's going to have probably a really good game against West Coast, and he might suck a few people in, and then it might drop off. That's also something that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's almost going to be the perfect storm next week if he does play well, and then I don't know, maybe they throw some magnets around at Essendon to see what works. I mean, I doubt it. Again, they've brought in Peter Wright straight away just to assist Caddy in that forward line, as Horse was saying. So I doubt they're going to really move out of that plan because they're going to want to find some stability now that Brian's out. But I mean, look, not having a Dacos and then seeing everyone jump on the VC on Dacos, I am almost chalking up this week to either just find absolute value just to continue some trade cadence later on, because what I saw through the week was potentially a lot of people moved from Roberts to Dacos. That was probably a really common trade, which is somewhat a bit sideways. Yeah. So then my approach now is, do I try to capitalize on that potentially and hold Roberts, hold a Davidson, maybe do a downgrade, and then next week go bang, bang with 2 upgrades for value and try to... The game now is, okay, how many rookies can I get off field while these guys are potentially one behind?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the key at this point, as we're in round 6 now and we're starting to see real upgrade season starting to take shape, the main thing we want to be doing is just getting these rookies off field ASAP. One of the worst things you can do is fall in love with them sometimes. And ideally, you try to move off your worst rookie on field and do it that way. And hopefully guys like Riley Bice and Levi Ashcroft, we can hold on over the next month, 6 weeks, until we get a full primo side. Do we reckon Riley Bice could potentially be like a D7 type play as a backup if our cash gen's good enough?
If he's scoring the way he is, then there's no reason to trade him.
Yeah, exactly. He seems like the pick of the rookies, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Forza, I will be at the game today, so I want North to win. I hope North can get the job done. I know as a Hawks man, we have Carlton's pick, so it'd be very funny. I will be cheering on North. They deserve a good Friday win. It's their fixture. I hope you guys can get it done.
George Wardlaw back in as well. That's an underrated in for North.
Yes.
Ooh, 100%.
Do you reckon that changes Sheasel's role or anything?
He probably plays a little bit more on the outside, if anything. So you've got LDU and Wardlaw as your in and under type players alongside Parker. He'll interchange through there, and then your Powells and your Sheasels and these sorts of players on the outside. I think it's only going to benefit Sheasel.
Yeah, agree. I'll tell you what. I hope George Wardlaw doesn't turn into those 1F players. I'm a little concerned with the concussions and hamstrings he's been dealing with. So he's an absolute young gun. One of my favourite players to watch when fully up and about. Georgie boy. Oh yeah, sorry, didn't answer this. Hope you're going well, the Greek Raven. Hi lads. I bring Merritt instead of Dacos. See how that decision goes for me. I think you'll be fine with Merritt, mate. I think Essendon, along with Collingwood, have a great run for the rest of the season in terms of inside mids.
Awesome run. So when we're talking the next 4 weeks, Essendon have the best run for midfielders in the competition for SuperCoach.
Do they? Gee, there you go. So Merritt will be fine, mate. Essendon have a really strong run SuperCoach-wise from here on out. So it would be tough for Merritt to go 1-7-2, but over the course of the season, I do expect Merritt to match or even do better than what Dacos is doing. It's just a tough pill to swallow for this week. Zane Acker, hope you're doing well, mate. Thoughts on Ned Long? We had a little discussion about this, but do we reckon he becomes more, I guess for us rookie coach, does he become more on the radar next week or just tough at this point now?
I think the timing of it's a little bit awkward, but it also depends on, did you do a Marek? Did you take a Humpty? if you haven't necessarily gone to those sort of players, like I didn't grab Humpty or Marek. Obviously, the week was this week to do it. He's still going to have a negative break even. He's going to be at an okay price. Look, even for those that maybe did bring in a day cost but didn't grab a long, and they just need that kind of cheap upgrade next week. So maybe they grab like a Pryor down to Carroll, and they grab, I don't know, maybe they hold on to a Clay Hall who's dropped for the second week and you move him on. Maybe you've got enough cash to facilitate getting in a Ned Long and a Carroll, which I still think is a fine option. So long as, again, we're hoping that the Ned Long thing sticks and he maintains that role. Obviously, some people had concerns about DeGoey being back in the team, but we've now seen that it didn't really alter anything. And as Horse was saying, it just gave him the ability to kind of blindly go in because all these big names are around him and get the cheap ball, cheap contested possessions and go nuts.
For those that are old enough to remember him, he reminds me a little bit of a Collingwood player by the name of Mark McGough, who came in years ago. Not the flashiest player, but just got heaps of the pill and loved it in and under and loved it tough and a sort of awkward kicking style. That's Ned Long to a T. But just to what you were saying, Coach, I like the way that you explain that, and for people to potentially go a less of an upgrade next week while still potentially getting your 90 to 95s. You've got to weigh up as well whether you want to spend the extra 100K next week and go to potentially a Tom Stewart or potentially a Christian Petrarca or these sorts of players. So it's a delicate game as to whether you want to just get your primo in and settle your side, or Ned Long is still going to have a negative break even next week. Do we go, fuck yeah? Oh, sorry, I swore. Do we go, shit,
it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, fuck yeah. I'm going to make another 100K out of this guy, or 120K out of this guy, which will then allow me to go not just to your Petracas or your Stewarts, but then potentially to that next level, maybe a Fallen Neil, or, if Bontempelli drops a little bit when he comes back, these sorts of players. So it's a really delicate line as to whether you want to lock in a F6, F5 or a M9, M8 for now, or whether you want to wait a little bit and use that cash elsewhere to bring in your keeper for the year.
100%.
Great stuff, boys. Yeah, absolutely nailed that. HHFC forever. Is Boyd a chance to play? I need him to stay out for Dacos VC.
He's in the squad.
He's in the squad. To me, it seems like he would only come in if Marshall is under an injury cloud or not playing.
It looks like he is.
Yeah, I was going to say, guys, do you think he is? Because the last couple of weeks he's stunk it up. He's under 500K now, and he could be under 450K by the end of this round.
We'll find out at 5 o'clock today. I'll tell you what, if he is your worst loop, you're in a good position, mate.
He's 516K. He's got a break even of nearly 200. And if he scores 76 again this round, which is more than what he's done the last two rounds, he'll drop 52K. So it'll be about 460K next round.
I'll tell you what, if I was actually going to say, what do we do with TDK? But Pitternet still didn't get named, which I'm very surprised about. I thought this week would have been the week
next
to
week
have played TDK. To play Pitternet, but yeah. I guess Marshall becomes very interesting at the flex, doesn't he? But we know rucks, if we go a third ruck, it can limit our flexibility around the ground if we want to be looking at certain moves. But I'll tell you what, Marshall, if we're looking at 440, 450K, it's really hard to ignore. Very interesting. And we saw Marshall in the back half of the season just absolutely tear it up. So I think he's just building his way into the season. He obviously had a very limited preseason at this stage. So I'm just going to have a look at DFS with rucks. St Kilda do have a very strong ruck run again after the bye. So that's, very interesting to see. And he's also got the round 13 bye, which is only 2 teams. So very much on our radar. The centre bounce. What's up, fellas? Happy Good Friday. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope it's a good Easter for everyone. But before we get into a few more questions, what are we up to over Easter, gents?
Chocolate and footy.
Plenty of footy. So I've got my mother and father-in-law down spending the Easter weekend with us. I'm actually pretty lucky. They're good people. So it's not as painful as what it might be for others. Yeah.
You'd hope they're good people.
the only downside is they're Collingwood supporters, and I have not heard the end of it.
Oh,
No. You
no.
probably won't. It's going to be a whole weekend.
Yeah. Can we just have this stream last 72 hours so I don't have to talk to them?
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm still going to do it. Sorry, guys.
72 hours. I can barely do 2 hours.
Yeah. No, again, I think it's just most. There'll be a nice little chocky here and there, some good footy to watch, and some good family time.
Mm-hmm.
We have a go-to Easter chocky. Do we have a favourite, or?
I don't mind either your Rocky Roads or I can't believe it's dropped me. What are the chocolates that you get in those, the boxes where you get a heap of different chocolates?
The favorites.
And it's got the favorites. And it's the one that everyone leaves behind in there.
Turkish Delight.
Turkish Delight. Love it. If you've got any extra Turkish Delights at home, send them to Horse out of Bendigo. I will eat the suitcase out of them.
They are good.
Yeah, I bought a mini packet of Lindt Easter eggs, so I'll be eating into them over Easter. All right, just a little quick update on the viewership. 46, I believe I've seen as the max, so there'll be $92 going to the Good Friday appeal. If you have any mates or whoever, or let the SuperCoach community know, jump on, say good day. I'm happy to spend whatever, as long as everyone's having a good time during Easter. It is all good.
Just before you continue on, mate, I went down to my local bakery here in Bendigo, which is George's Bakehouse in Kennington. And the owner of that bakery is a mate of mine by the name of Patch. And he's utilised the Royal Children's Hospital in the past with his daughter and having a extended stay through the hospital. He found out that we were doing the live and he passed on a couple of free hot cross buns for me to pass on in our local community. So to Patch and the boys there at George's Bakehouse, both in Kennington and Huntley, we're giving you a shout out. You do some awesome work, mate. And if you're in the Bendigo area, go and grab your hot cross buns from there. Ripper bloke, great food, awesome service.
That's awesome, mate. Great to hear. That's great stuff for the community. Next time I'm in Bendigo, I'll be going down there, that's for sure. No, good stuff, Horse. And I haven't been to Bendigo in a few years. I'll have to make my way down at some point.
You're not missing much.
Well, no. I like Bendigo. I've been there a couple of times. It's beautiful. Just very far. David, thoughts on Jai Newcombe next week? No Will Day has West Coast, Richmond and Melbourne to come after this week. Will be 5:30K. I find him very interesting. We've seen the scores and how he went during finals without Will Day. You would obviously assume that he is the number one tag target for the Hawks. If I'm not feeling Thomas Stewart, I might go there if I want to have a bit of fun in SuperCoach. The floor does concern me. If he has a bad game, he can have a bad game and score a 60, but we know his ceiling can be large. How are we viewing the Jai Newcombe pick? Does he pique our interest a little bit?
I'll let you go this, coach.
So I've done some extensive research into the Hawks because there's a lot of value to be had this week and next. Newcombe's definitely one of them that we're eyeing off. Obviously, Will Day going down opens up some potential space for a few players to capitalize on CBAs and being the main man. Those that do watch my stuff, I have my second banana theory on not really grabbing the number one mid just because of the tag threats this season. Newcombe, the only thing I'll say against Newcombe, there's two things. One, it reminds me of a Chad Warner where the floor can be absolutely abysmal, but the ceiling can be through the absolute roof. We've seen him go, skyrocket at some games. That's probably the most enticing part, is we know the capabilities of Newcombe, but the floor is a little bit concerning if, the Hawks have a bad game or he's just not, maybe cops attention. Like for this week, we do probably expect Atkins or O'Connor to probably put some attention into Newcombe because who else are they going to put attention into? That's probably what we're hoping for if you want to get Newcomb next week, because he's got, I think, a 130 break even, so he's going to lose some cash next week as well. The player that stands out to me out of Hawthorn, if you were looking that way, is Dylan Moore. And someone that I'm very potentially pivoting into. I was going to go very against the pack this week and get into green, and I'm still very sold on the pick just because I think at 5.60 he's a little bit value, and they seem to be giving Callaghan attention. However, given the situation of last night, I might move to Moore just so I can keep Roberts and play a bit more of the value game. Now, Moore had some CBAs, got up to 50% CBAs last week. We know that there's, I think, Josh Ward and
James Warple's in that mix. Yeah.
James Warple's in that mix as well.
Cam McKenzie started to roll through as well.
Yeah, McKenzie, that was the other one that was escaping my brain. So in that mix, we kind of see Moore sitting at maybe that third or fourth banana, where he's going to get some CBAs, which can help. We still hope, and we've seen him enter the top 6 in the forward line pretty consistently. Like, he hasn't been too bad the last few seasons. He just needs a couple of goals to maintain a healthy floor. That's the only consideration, is to have a healthy floor with Moore is you need a few goals to go his way, or at least some good, score involvements. But at 450k, I think he's got a achievable break even. He's most likely going to make some cash. Hawks have an amazing run as well coming up. I would be urging people to look at Moore before Newcomb at this rate.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
yep.
I'm the same. If my bloody forward line wasn't already complete. Yeah, no, I would love to get Dylan Moore in, but yeah, he's a very good share for people out there that are a couple of forwards away from a complete forward line. I'd be having a look at him. So I think the main three are Newcomb, Nash, and Warple, and then it's Dylan Moore. And I know Hawks. I'm in a bunch of Hawks group chats, and I agree with them. I think we need to see Dylan Moore more in the midfield going forward, especially with Will Day out. He just oozes that type of player to play more midfield, tackles well, fast. He's not the Will Day mold that we might be looking for in that midfield, but he's a very, very strong midfielder when he gets the opportunity to play in there. I know when he's had CBA games in the past as well, I believe he's had 28 touches, couple of goals, 8 tackles, that type of game. So he's got a really strong game and SuperCoach scoring mold into his game in the midfield. So I do think he's a really strong shout to have 40 to 50% CBAs, maybe even more, whatever the case may be. I think he's a really strong option now. We know he can do 95 plus, but with that extended CBA run that he could potentially get, then it's very interesting.
Can I present to you then round 12, the next DPPs that come through, Dylan Moore at 450, if your forward line isn't complete, having a nice little M8, M9 / F5, F6 swing towards the back end of the year?
Very handy. Before we move into the next question, how are you guys sort of looking to approach to finishing the side? Are you looking to side swap some premiums and have maybe 23 really strong guys? You're looking to try to get 25, 26 potential premiums to have on the bench and loop and whatever the case may be, and maybe just avoid some of the top guys at top dollar?
So for me, this week for me was doing my projections. I bought in Ned Long because I thought that he still had a lot of money to make. And I've only got 60K left in the bank now. But with the players that I've got and the rookies that I've got the ability now to almost be able to go one up, one down for the entirety of my upgrade season now. So I've got your trainers, your Bice, your Reeds, your Ashcrofts. I'll just check my side so I can let you know. I've got your Mariches, Powell Pepper. I kept just purely because I had to early in the season, and look what he's done. Sam Davidson. So all of those players are, fattening up really nicely. And if they get to, your 320, 330Ks, that's awesome. You drop them down to a 119K rookie, and then you take up another 330, 340K rookie that's fattened up enough to be able to go, yep, I'm up into a 570, 580 primo.
Sounds bloody awesome, Horse. How are you looking at it, Rookie?
Yeah, look, last season being my first season, I kind of made the mistake of paying up massively for just the top end guys. I think it's just the patience and playing a bit more of the value game. And as the Horse is saying, like, really, there's all merit to hold on to Roberts and Davidson this week and just move a couple of rookies around. Again, given that we've a little bit of chaos, Sardis not named again, Hall dropped, a few things where our benches suddenly don't look as healthy as we planned them to be. So that's one thing to consider as well. But yeah, I'm going to be going complete value. I think this year I've only paid above 600 for 4 players. I only started 2 players above 6, and that was like barely over 600. So I think I'm going to keep that approach in. And as I said, like I'm currently looking at Dylan Moore in my forward line to complete it, and I don't think it's changing at the moment. So might say bye-bye to Davidson just because I think Roberts can bounce back more than a Davidson can. We've got Bond back. There's a few different rotating things now that may influence Davidson's output. Whereas Roberts, Bice is named on bench. Roberts is, again, not that we pay too much mind to team sheets because they always change at last minute. But SCG is Roberts' main ground that he scores well on.
I love that you brought that up, Coach. I want to throw something out to you boys that I think the NRL do really well, and they've got their team list Tuesday. So for those that don't watch NRL, they announce all the teams on the Tuesday. They know what number, what position they're playing in, and it's basically locked in unless some late changes happen. So 2, 3, 4, 5 days in advance who's in, who's out, and it gives you an opportunity to plan ahead. Whereas in the AFL, sometimes if you're Geelong, sorry, Coach, but if you're Geelong, Chris Scott couldn't give a fuck. And he came out during the week and said that on AFL 360.
Literally.
That we don't care what the fantasy people think or the people that are punting on this game think. We're going to do what's best for our side, and we'll make changes wherever we want. And he even admitted to panicking because he's like, it was Jack Henry. He had a sore foot, and he was still 50-50, and like no one knew that, but he was undergoing fitness tests on the ground at the time. And then Tom Stewart with the gastro, and he didn't know which way they were going to go. So it sort of makes for a bit of a guessing game with AFL SuperCoach versus NRL SuperCoach, where your teams from 1 through to how many positions is there? 13, 14, 15 on the field. And then you've got your 4 on the bench. You know who's in, you know who's out. And unless there's late changes, that's it. If there was one thing I'd like to see happen with the AFL, it's that team list all come out at the same time. Then you know what you've got to play with at the start of each week.
We can dream.
Yeah, we can
dream. Chris Scott will probably start a petition against that sort of thing.
No doubt. Yeah.
I think we're closer to, 56 viewers. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I remember, we remember a few years ago where they were just doing the games, announcing the teams, what was it, 24 hours before each game, and that was a nightmare, and we petitioned to go back to Thursday night teams. I think Thursday night teams are still fine, but now all of a sudden with the Thursday game being every week, we've only got this hour 10 gap where to just make sure that everything's in order. So it is interesting, and but yeah, that is the dream. Tuesday teams, I've noticed that as well. Shout out to the Dolphins, fins up, lads. But yeah, very interesting. Would you like
even
to see
worse
that?
though with the Thursday night team releases with the Thursday game? SuperCoach servers get absolutely pummeled, and then you can't go into SuperCoach to change it because they're overloaded, and then you panic for a full hour.
Yeah, legit. Yeah, too many people. Well, I guess most of us as well. We probably need to see the teams first before we make any changes per se. Like I know each Thursday before teams, I go into undo changes and remove all the changes that I've made, so I get a clear picture of what I'm thinking. So, but yeah, I'd love for it to be Tuesday. Thank you for all the questions down below, guys. We will get to that. Michael Higginson, hope you're going well, mate. Hi, guys. Went to Roberts to Dacos due to Roberts break even. Didn't want to lose too much cash with me eyeing up a double upgrade. of Humpty and Davidson, which is going to be tight.
Shout out to Higo as well, mate. He played in the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas last year and finished in the money.
Oh shit! Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ripper
Small world.
Yeah.
I'm
As an
telling
avid
you.
poker fan who also played in the APL, absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I won't be playing you anytime soon, then, Michael. But
Do it.
thank you for jumping on. Yeah, I think this is perfectly fine. Yeah, you can look at Stuart next week, or Dylan Moore if he doesn't go too bonkers. So, yeah, I think Robert Sadakos is, well, easy to say that
Worked
now,
a
but
treat.
looks pretty good. Yeah, I will be holding Roberts for the time being, though, but I think that's perfectly fine, Michael. Hope you're doing well, mate. Daniel Green, hope you're doing well. Hey, one for Rookiecoach, all right? Me and Horse will shut up. Should I trade Nod for Merritt or Tom Green? Because the next week I'll be trading Tom Dow for the other one with my team structure now. I can only get one this week.
So shout out to Daniel Green. He became like the first member of the channel once it became available. So massive shout out to Daniel.
Shout out to you.
Look, given the chaos that's happened this week in just one game, I'm probably pushing off the Green pick and moving into Valley with more. I still love the Tom Green pick. If the reason why I'm pushing off it is I already have a Dunkley and a Richards, and if I throw a Green into the mix, I've now got 2-3 pods in the mids without any Dacos, Merritts, Sarongs, or anything like that. So for me, it's probably not as viable. So if you've got the big boys like a Sarong and a Brayshaw, I don't mind you going Tom Green, but I think Merritt, if you can afford Merritt, and I'll get these boys to jump in on it as well, I think you grab Merritt. I think you just, if you compare Green to Merritt, it's no real competition, surely.
Greeny, get Merritt.
Yeah, I'd be getting Merritt. If you have the opportunity to get Merritt, I think you jump on it. I don't think you'll regret it there. Merritt, as consistent as it comes, yeah, I'd be getting
Green's still
Merritt.
a good pick. He's gonna, my fellow Rangers are gonna do well. I mean, I liked having Richards and Green in my team just for the Ranger combo, but you know, it's
What? There's no Oscar Baker.
no, there is not.
No.
But yeah, look, I think he's a great captaincy option, which I don't think you'll get from Green each week. Whereas like Merritt for the next few games, you can just comfortably chuck a VCLC on him, I think.
Yep.
So yeah. I think that's totally fine, Daniel. Hope you have a good Easter. Michael, welcome back. Kept the faith in Flynn at R3, hoping the patience pays off and he stays in the team.
Here you go. Flynn is probably only better than one player in the AFL, and that's Ben Keys. That's it.
Oh, not Keyser.
Oh, mate. On our channel, I fucking cop it flat out about Ben Keys. So we had a overs unders bet last year on Ben Keys, and we had it at 72 SuperCoach points. And he scored 73 in that specific game. And ever since then, he's been on my, I won't say hate list, but just as a bit of tongue in cheek on our channel. Just got no faith in him. He's at the very bottom of the barrel for me because I just lost because of him. So, yeah, the boys know that they just get stuck into me about Ben Keys. So, Flynn is this much better, Higo, than Ben Keys.
There you go.
I'll tell you what, I started Flynn R2. That was the biggest headache of all time. And, of course, the week after I trade him, he comes back in. But, yeah, hopefully Flynny goes well. Don't tell the Triple M boys about your opinion with Keyser. I'll tell you what, listening to Crows games on radio.
Oh, they love him, don't they?
Fun. Yeah, and West Coast games with Flan, Ryan.
Yeah.
Causa, I don't want a third ruck anymore. Maybe an extra defender or forward at flex. Yeah. It depends how hard to miss Marshall. That'd be the only thing, though. But I get that. It seems like halfbacks are the new midfielders this year.
Yep.
And it can limit your flexibility, as I mentioned earlier. If you go a third ruck, Centre bounce, Good Friday church this morning, then off to do some family stuff on Sunday. Nice stuff. Big J, hope it's a ripper weekend for you. The centre bounce, Cheeky Roos win today would be cool, mate. I'd bloody love to see the Roos get up. Hopefully no Carlton supporters in the chat. Bloody Pie supporters, haha. Gee, I'm miles behind this, aren't I? Yeah, it does. Yeah, they've had enough fun. Caramel eggs are my favourite. Yeah, the caramel eggs were grouse, Big J. Scorched Earth, Flag Rose thought it was. I thought it was Big J's centre bounce today. Yeah, I wonder what the crowd they'll get. Are we thinking 45?
North Melbourne, Carlton.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45 people. Yep, spot on.
Yep. Big J will be bringing the church down to the game.
Yeah, we'll put it on the middle of the ground so TDK doesn't go too nuts. Putting the VC on George Hewitt. Good shout, mate. How about George Hewitt starts the year, lads?
It was a matter of time until he popped up, wasn't it? Honestly.
Was it 2022 where he was actually not too bad? And then he's had a couple of years of regression, but this year for George, he started off the year 94 and then consistently 123, 126, 125, 132. I would err against Georgie Hewitt today only because North Melbourne's midfield of LDU and Georgie Wardlaw, and then you've got Sheasel and the likes, Luke Parker. It's a pretty, even though North haven't been very good, that's a pretty deep midfield that they've got there.
They've got the ability to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're a neutral matchup usually for opposition mids. So, but it's the year of the defensive midfielders, I'm telling you. Turkish Delights and Cherry Ripes, yuck.
Oh, send them to me, mate.
Yep, there you go.
I like the Cherry Ripes. Can't cop
You can have the Cherry Ripes.
Yeah, I don't want Cherry
Ripes. I
Ripes.
like the Cherry Ripes. They fly under the radar. Shout out to the 62 viewers tuning in. That's 124 to the Good Friday appeal. So keep it up, lads. Good stuff for everyone tuning in. I regret bringing in Zach Merrin instead of Nick Dacos, but I'm buying Nick Dacos next week. Don't force it.
Nah, don't regret it, mate. You brought in a good player. You're still able to bring Nick Dacos in at a relatively good price next week. I mean, if we knew that we could get Nick Dacos at around 600K at the start of the year, you'd be taking that every day of the week. You missed one score, so be it. You've seen him go back-to-back good scores. You know he's back now. Just grab him next week, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Zach Merritt I reckon, can match what Dacos is doing. This Big J, Merritt into Brayshaw for me, VC and C this week. That's very strong. Two very strong options. I like that. Who are our VC and Cs this week?
I'll let you go first, Coach. Yeah.
I had Zorko as VC, expecting a bounce back, but he decided to have an attitude problem. So, not great. Look, I do have more. I do also, there's a 50-50 chance I send it and get Roberts for Merritt, just so I have a safe captaincy to kind of battle. But at the same time, I'm very much just going to chalk this week up to just one of those weeks and look for a team value adjustment. So I'm probably eyeing off maybe a Whitfield or a McRae for a captaincy.
Yep. Yeah, potential revenge game.
I've got the C on McRae and VC on Andrew Brayshaw.
Solid.
I'm VCing Sheasel today and Captain Brayshaw.
Very nice.
David Morgan, Turkish Delight is the
Get around it, brother.
Goods horse, the Cadbury Crunchy Easter Bunny Gold.
Yeah,
there's so many Easter eggs now. I can't keep count. I just grab whatever's on special. Causa, trading Power Pepper after 18 for Lindsay is so annoying now after keeping Campo.
Yeah. You know what? Hindsight's 2020 though. Power Pepper was shocking to start the year, and Lindsay was doing really well, and you can't predict injuries. So for Corey especially, I got to know Corey quite well last year. He was sitting 70,000th, finished the year inside the top 40,000. Now he's inside the top 7K. So if trading Power Pepper for Lindsay is the worst that your team has done this year, then your team is sitting pretty well.
Yeah, you're having a good year. Yeah. I mean, it made sense. Like, there's not much you can do with injuries sometimes. As long as your trade process is you view it as correct, then I don't think that's that bad of a move, Causa. Michael,
I think the fun thing with SuperCoach is, in general, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but for SuperCoach, it's the worst thing.
Yeah, it's
Because
very
then
annoying.
we ignore all logic that we had at the start of the week when we were making our trade plans, and then the games start rolling in. You're like, oh, why didn't I do this? And so, well, no, hold on. You made the trades for a reason. Like, sure, someone like a Dacos had a spike game when you're like, no, I'll grab him next week. It's a 120, reigning Prems. I might send Barry to. Like, they had all logical sound to aim for Dacos next week and maybe say pick up a track instead and play value. Hindsight's a fun thing, but I feel like it's because I see it all the time. Everyone beats themselves up. Stick to your plans. This is why a trade plan is good. You know, if I'm getting emotionally reactive to trades and I'm like, no, I do this, I'm like, okay, hold on. What's my overall plan? And then I'm like, okay, I'm not emotionally tied to this trade plan. I'm going to do that instead because it's built on more logic than, you know, chasing scores or anything like that. So
Exactly. You'll be fine, Causa.
100%.
Michael, Horse, when you were rattling off your players, you've got to mention. Oh yeah. So that was back to.
There it is. Yeah.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah. Just a shout out, mate. 2 people inside the Inside community have donated to your cause, the Good Friday link. They've donated $30. So thank you to those people.
Shout out to
Legends.
the Inside community. Thank you so much for this. It's obviously a great stream to to bring awareness to the Good Friday appeal. It's obviously a very strong day for a lot of people. So full credit to everyone for tuning in here, the Inside community, everyone around. So I do appreciate it quite a lot. So shout out to the Inside community. That's awesome. So thank you very much. TLT is great. What's that?
Team List Tuesday. That's the NRL thing
I
I was speaking to you about. So you'll see 2 comments down, unless the coaches change it up in the last minute because they can. The 17's are set. So that's what I was saying earlier about your 17 players for your team are set on Tuesday, regardless of whether they play on a Thursday or a Sunday. And there's only really a couple of late-ins or late-outs each week, whether it's through injury or through illness. That would be about it. But you know your 17 players that are in the squad for the week.
Yeah.
So there's none of this like Tom Gross tonight. Is he going to be sub? Is he not? Like there's none of that. Like you'd know that on Tuesday.
Yeah, we would know on Tuesday. So
yeah.
I wonder if it'd throw a spanner in the works if he was sub. That's for sure. Probably.
Word is he will be.
Yep. Really?
Carrying a little shoulder injury, and they want to try and manage him through.
Yeah. Well, I guess that means keeping Henderson. So that's awesome. Taken Nick Dacos. Oh, sorry, I missed this. Stuart Mack, hope you're doing well, mate. I'm late arriving, but love the concepts/charity. Well done, mate. Go Hawks. Yeah, go Hawks. Hope you're doing well, Stuart. Over Easter. Taken Dacos next week or too expensive? He is perfectly fine to grab next week.
Yep, grab him.
Issues. Yep.
But if you want Dacos, make sure it is next week. The week after would be too late. Daniel, thanks, lads. Appreciate the feedback. Same to you all. Have a great Easter. Cheers. Yeah, hope you go well. Daniel, enjoy Easter.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for jumping on. Dodgy Malacca, is 20K really that big of a difference between fading Nick Dacos and picking him up? It's really not. Not at all. No, it's perfectly fine to grab him next week. Jack, up the baggers. Yep.
Up the baggers.
We do have Carlton supporters here. Yeah, best of luck for you. Worst of luck, actually, for you today. Michael, when upgrading, do you look for players with the later mid-season buys? So the players with the early mid-season buys are available to trade in after their buy? Good question. I
do like the thinking. I do love the thinking.
There's definite logic there.
That's what pushed me towards Green as well, is he's that later buy person that can hold me through those early buys in the mids, in the mid-season buys. And then I get a look at who I can potentially pivot to if he's not up to par.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agree. I think you don't want to have too many guys on the same buy, but it's also the matter of seeing which buy players are on each line. So just making sure you're not loaded up too much on one line for one buy. So like probably in the back and forward line, ideally no more than 2 with that buy. And then midfield, ideally no more than 3 on that same buy, unless you're looking to buy flip a certain player that is underperforming. So good thinking, Michael. Jack, is Marriage a hold for the rest of the season? Probably not.
Probably not, but mid-forward, I would suggest that with the role that he's got, and I think that his scoring of 90s sticks with McGovern back as well, mind you. At the very least, he's your F7, M9 swingman until you absolutely need to upgrade. When you're looking at potential players, whether it be rookies or primos, you're looking at the role and you're looking at how they score their SuperCoach points. He's in Shannon Hearn's role. Shannon Hearn was a great scorer for West Coast for a number of years. So he might be a bit softer than other West Coast Eagles players, but he's got a beautiful leg on him. He hits targets really well, loves to kick the ball, and he runs just as hard chasing those point kickouts than what he does when he's chasing the defender, mate. So, you know what? If he's my last upgrade, happy days if he's still scoring those 90s.
Yep, 100%. Probably a guy we can worry about a bit later, of course, unless the role does change. But getting most of his kick-ins for his points, so that's always very handy. Jack, Scorched Earth, Misso has the VC on Hewitt. You never know the way he's going. He's in red hot form. There might be better options, but why not have a crack at it?
I mean, I've done the unfortunate bet where, because George Hewitt has been a name that has haunted me for almost since the start of the season. Josh, who was in the chat earlier, who also mentioned about VCing him, I think in one of I've only started live streaming this year. I think in one of the first live streams, he just harped on about Hewitt. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's had one good game. He might come back down to earth. And he just hasn't. So I've heard that name. It haunts me. If Hewitt does go 130 again this week, I've committed to getting an absolute poster to put behind me of him.
Is there any George Hewitt posters out there?
No, I think I'm going to have to make one, which is even worse.
As an Essendon supporter, your back wall there looks exactly the same as our finals wins in the last 20 years.
No, it's very bare.
St Kilda's trophy cabinet. Anyway, no, I feel bad. I feel bad for those Sainers.
That's a good call. Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Best of luck, Scorched Earth, with your miss on that. Stuart Mac, anyone think the Eagles are a sneaky chance today? If they stay with them, the Dons could get shaky and the Perth crowd go nuts. What are you doing tonight if West Coast win? Horse?
Not much by the sounds of things.
Back on.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. Essendon probably won't blow them out because Essendon aren't a good side yet. But I think it's a comfortable 5 to 6 goal win. It's not going to be 10 goals.
Yeah. Hopefully a win around the corner is there for the Eagles. They're still just so far off it. Causa, it's like how I went Rosie over Dacos, but I'm happy I did so I could keep Davidson. Yeah, I think Davidson could spike this week. I did move off.
Yeah, St Kilda are the 3rd easiest team to score against for wingers, and the last time he played at Marvel, he scored 129.
Yep, and that was against Carlton. So, I still think Davidson's still got another 60, 70K in him. So I don't have any problems with people trading to get a premium or holding just in case he does go bonkers. This is the type of matchup he could go well in this week, especially back at Marvel. What's Sheasel's role this week from Scorched Earth? So you were saying more of an outside game? Horse?
Yeah, outside mid.
Yep.
Yeah, I really do hope. I'll have to check the team sheets, but Zach Fisher probably just played with North Melbourne structure a little bit last week, and they're a much worse side with him in the team. 6 pressure acts as a halfback for a whole game when the ball's down there as much as what it was.
Disgusting.
It's not AFL type level. We see Fisher, he's on the bench. So hopefully he's sub. But I think that North Melbourne's defence is what needs to be fixed the most. And as soon as they get that right, they'll win a lot more games.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, so probably an outside role for Sheasel, but hopefully he's in for a strong one. David, hope you're doing well, mate. Thank you for the questions that you've been giving us. How many boosts do you guys have left? I'm ranked 106. Good stuff.
Nice work.
With 3, went purely guns and rookies this year because everyone was on the mid-price train. Will take me longer to finish my side, though. That's fine, mate. 106, you're laughing. So, yeah, 3 left is good. I've got 2 left after this week. What about you, boys?
3.
We'll probably have 2 left because I might just do a 1 up, 1 down this week.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. What do you guys think about using boosts like very quickly, like being with 1 left after this week, for example?
I think it's okay if you're bringing in your cash generators or it's to bring in your premiums that are going to be keepers. You're not using boosts in order to bring in your what we call stepping stones, your players that, are sort of mid-price. They're not keepers. You're not using a boost for that. Like if you're doing your 1 up, 1 down, it might be okay if like your Ned Longs are going to make you 150K. But yeah, you're not using a boost at this stage unless they're for a keeper, or if you're bringing in, if Gross and Cleary are both your rookies that are going to generate you money this week, and then you've got your Nick Dacos's or your Merits that you want to bring in as your keeper, then I'd say that's fine.
Yep, nailed that horse. Yep, I agree. Hopefully you continue your good stuff, Dave. Scorched Earth VC Sheasel C Brayshaw #flagmantle. Is there any little concern for us if could Sparrow go to Brayshaw with the way Brayshaw's been playing?
I think he goes to Sarong if anyone.
Yeah, probably does. And then you'd think Oliver's on Brayshaw.
Head to head?
Yeah.
Probably. Yep.
Yeah.
Brayshaw's been phenomenal this year, though. Really an underrated footballer. Probably if he was in Melbourne, he'd be talked about, along the likes of Merritt and that. But he's in Perth. Perth players don't generally get a lot of media here in Melbourne. But he has been since, round 17 last year, coach, where he just popped off and he's continued that into this year.
Yeah. He's been absolute beauty. So, and it's good to see him show a bit of faith with Freo, especially being a Victorian boy, staying up there. Short Mac, how to donate for those that missed it early? You say link. Oh, good question. I didn't put a link in. Do
you want me to find one and I'll send it to you and you can put in your description down below?
So the link I sent into the group chat to you guys, that was the right one, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. So the max I've seen here is 65, so they'll be 130. I'm pretty certain it's www.goodfridayappeal.com.
Where are we? I'll see if I can put in the chat.
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great.
I can't. I'll send it to you in the private chat and you can post it below, mate.
Yep, I might actually be able to just do this. Good Friday Appeal. I'm fairly certain it's this. I'll copy and paste the link here in the comments down below to donate. I'm fairly certain it's this one. So if you want to donate,
Legend.
Good Friday Appeal, more than welcome to down there. Use the link.
Let's make Steve broke.
Yes.
Rookiecoach and I have jumped on here. We know that Steve's just bought a house, but you know what? Fuck him. Dig deep. Get your friends to watch the channel. Get your friends to jump on the stream. Yep. Give him a like. Subscribe to his channel. And you know what? Let's get 150 in the chat.
Oh,
make sure he's just eating 2-minute noodles for this week.
Forever.
Oh. For the
Ideally not, but I'm happy
Make him
to
go back to Fantastic Furniture to return the couch because he's got to donate.
I'm happy to donate, but don't make me broke. Nah.
I've just got a message from Patch, the bloke that donated the hot cross buns. He's donated $50 as well after viewing your channel. So thanks to Patch and the guys at George's Bakehouse here in Kennington and Huntley.
George's Bakehouse. I'll make sure next time I'm in Bendigo, I'll be going down to you. Yeah, thank you guys so much. That means a lot. Good to do a stream on Good Friday again. Didn't do anything for donating last year, so felt like I had to change that. So yeah, good to do it for a good cause today. So I've just sent the link here down below, guys. If you want to donate yourself, just use this link and they'll be great for today. Yeah, so this is back to the NRL team sheet Tuesday or whatever it was called. They even named their 18th man. That's unbelievable clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a twos in?
Yeah, they do.
The NRL?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
Yep. What it's called, I'm not sure. I think it's Scorched Earth will be able to tell us. But yeah, there's clarity, there's transparency. I guess they're open and transparent with who's playing right at the start of the week. Again, it'd be ideal for our SuperCoach sides, but yeah, as Rookiecoach said earlier, we can only dream.
That also might mean there's quite a few more changes, late changes type thing as well in the rugby, because I assume they'll be training during the week.
Yep, they are. If anyone's out with injury, they're just ruled out. If anyone's a fitness test, people know that they're a fitness test. Like, great, awesome amount of clarity and transparency in that community, or in the NRL space anyway.
Yeah, that's
I'm
awesome.
pivoting. I'm going to play NRL next year. Bye-bye.
I played NRL in the past and I didn't do it this year. I didn't make a team in time, so I'll be playing that next year.
I actually don't mind it. I'm surprised I haven't done it yet, to be honest.
I like the NRL. It's very tough to watch it when the footy's on. It's good. I watched the Vegas games. That was good. Crazy Frogs, hope you're doing well, mate. Good to have you on. Will Ashcroft to Dacos next week?
Not yet.
I wouldn't say so.
No, Will Ashcroft has been popping off the last 3 weeks. Brisbane were just smashed at the contest last night. He will be better. So I wouldn't rush into trading him off. Even though he scored his 40, so be it. But they've got St Kilda next week at Marvel. Then Gold Coast at the Gabba. Usually play well against them. Then they've got North. Then they've got Melbourne. So there's quite a few nice matchups for Brisbane. So if you can hold Ashcroft until the buys, I would be doing that. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, ideally it's rookies first, Frogger, but love your work. David, Horse, how many will Kako kick today? Big spike today.
Yeah, so West Coast are ranked 18th against small forwards in the AFL. Like we saw the likes of Durden and that last week for Carlton tear it up. He ended up with 91 SuperCoach points last week, and that's probably 3 times the amount that he's ever scored in his career. So I think let's go conservative and go 17. No, 3. I think he kicks 3 today.
So we're expecting a bit of a spike score for him?
Yeah, I think so. He's at 190K. I considered trading him out this week, but I think he restarts that cash gen today.
I would agree.
Yeah. Well, this is his best opportunity.
Yeah. Who do West Coast have as a small defender that could go with someone like that?
I know Brady Hoff, but
he's been playing midfield.
Yeah, true. Speed-wise, that's tough. I'll tell you what, West Coast have just some names I can't even think about. There's just...
Yeah, they've got quite a few holes right throughout their team. You know what? Matt Owies usually plays well against Essendon too, so he may be a cheeky chance for a couple of goals as well.
Might be Jinby.
Surely Jinby goes...
Yeah. Nah. I think if anyone, you look through that back 6 there, Huff or Hoff is named there, whether he plays or not, I'm not sure. Maybe Duggan.
Oh, God. Kako might kick 8.
Like, they're not going to go with Baker on him.
No.
Nah.
McGovern, Edwards, Marich.
I could
None
see
of them will go to
Jimby
yeah.
going more to Martin than Kako just because of the build
Yeah.
Yeah.
and try and bully him around more than Kako because Kako will just get up and under Jimby and, speed will be unmatched. Whereas Martin, I think Jimby's a little better match to stay with and put the pressure on.
Yeah, agree.
For those that held him, though, Elijah Hewitt's back today too.
Finally.
Yeah, I thought I saw an update where he was out this week, but I'm surprised that he's back.
Yeah, there was one, so you're not dreaming. There was stuff come out to say that he was out one more week, but yep, he's been named. Will he be the sub?
Hopefully not.
I'm hearing it's going to be Gross just to try and get him through, but who knows?
So if Gross is sub, and let's say El Hawley isn't, would you just swap to El Hawley?
No.
What would you do?
As an Essendon man, I know El Hawley played well last week when he came on, but he's been named sub twice in his 2 games.
Yeah.
So there's too much risk there. And for me as an Essendon supporter, it's awesome to see someone with some flair, some dash, some ball use playing. But the consistency in the role for me is not there. And he hasn't been named in our best 22 yet. So he could be next week's Clay Hall of this week where he gets dropped. And then you've got another dead rookie on your bench.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of dead rookies now, that's for sure. So hopefully Gross isn't sub tonight, but you never know. We'll stream for another 15 minutes, guys. Pop in your questions. Let's get one last push for the viewership. We're currently at 52. The max has been 65. So tell everyone around. Let's get 70. Let's have a crack at that.
Get all the burner accounts.
Yeah.
Get your second laptops out.
Great emails. Do everything. Let's get a bunch. Let's get a bunch on. Jack, I brought Dacos in this week. Next week, do I trade Trainer and Davidson and bring in Rosie and Matt Carroll? I think Trainer's still got another couple of weeks of cash generation.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be trading Trainer. If you got maybe a Jackson Pryor, if he has a poor game tonight, then his time might be up next week. I like the idea, though. We want to be getting rookies to value premiums. But, yeah, just maybe wait on Trainer. There might be another guy that you'll be able to use.
Yep.
Yeah, the consideration with that sort of thing is rookies that aren't providing good on-field scores. If they're doing enough to substitute and there's maybe a 10, 15-point gap, I think you kind of just wait until their scoring drops, unless their BE meets over their average, and then they start losing cash. But for a trainer, there should be no reason to trade them out.
Yep, agreed.
While we're on the subject of rookies to bring in, rookie coach, I want to ask you, mate. Tunstall looked good last night.
Oh,
he did.
He looked so good.
He's been a few years in the system, so he's unlike our rookies that we've started this year, or most of the rookies that we've started this year with, where he's had a couple of AFL pre-seasons now. So his body's at that stage where he can handle the rigors of AFL footy. If he pumps out another, like we saw, what did he score last night? 80 odd or whatever it was.
88.
So if he pumps out even a 60 next week, there's our downgrade in 2 weeks' time.
Yep. Do you hold faith that he can stay in the side, though? Because we know over the years that he can easily drop in and out of the side.
After last night and the way that he played against Collingwood, who smashed them, I have high hopes.
Yeah, you'd hope so. He would need to put in a decent shift next week. So we hope that is a good downgrade. Seems like Matt Carroll is the only one next week, but I don't know what his job security is like.
Speaking to Damo from SuperCoach Edge, he seems to like the job security side of things. He pretty much called it that they brought in, who was it?
He brought him in for Cowan?
Yeah, so they brought in Lewis Young to kind of fill in that forward spot, which then allows some shifts to keep Carroll as that third ball defender.
Yeah.
So the job security is looking okay at the moment. But yeah, at the moment, really probably the early downgrade option for next week, unless Sard might put in a decent sub game this week and maybe as an option if you need it next week as a mid. Maybe Sard's, maybe you hold a Sard's, you got a Hall, I think most people have a Campo sitting on their bench. So maybe that I'm potentially still going to grab Saad this week just because I got Cleary last week. Just to try and get some health. Because I think, I don't, Horse, you're probably a great person to ask this. What are your thoughts on Al Huli? What do you like about him? Is he got some good job security? You're a bit cautious.
I wish that they'd name him as not sub.
Yeah.
Whether this is to start integrating him into the team full time or whether it's out of necessity to start the year. So we've seen the likes of Parrish, who's not going to be back for a little bit. Sardis isn't in the team. The thing that I like as an Essendon supporter on El Hawley is that he possesses dare, speed, and to take the game on. You look at the backman that we've got at Essendon right now, and Ridley, he uses the ball well, but can't stay healthy and is usually a safe user of the ball. Redmond, he does like to take the game on, but he's fairly safe as well. McGrath, he's just honest. There's no one that's exciting to watch. No one that, wants to give the 1-2, wants to break a tackle and break the line. So from an excitement point of view, I can't wait to see this kid develop because I genuinely think he's going to be a mainstay of our back line for years to come. But right now, I just want to see him not be in the vest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the only thing. I wish we didn't have the vest. It would make things so much easier, but
I'll go one further. For anyone that's debuting, it should be a blanket rule for every team that if a player debuts, they are not the sub.
Oh, we saw that for Marshall last night.
Yeah, they keep doing it.
The vest.
Well, wasn't all 18 coaches against the sub and the AFL still kept it? So,
kept it.
Yeah, I feel like we're right around the corner to 5 players on the bench, but got to wait another year. So, got to deal with this bullshit. All right.
What's your profanity?
Sorry?
What's your profanity?
Oh, he said the F word twice. No. Don't hang that on me. Nah, all good. Dodgy Malacca, in Bont's next 8 games, he's most likely going to get tagged 7 times with 2 windy tags during that time. Thoughts? He's basically untaggable, though. That's the only thing.
I think he spends more time forward, especially early on as he gets match fitness. Like that injury to, was it his calf that he had? That means that he's been unable to train on his legs. He's probably been doing some aerodynamic stuff, whether it be in the pool or what have you, but nothing compares to actually getting run in the legs. So I think to start, he probably plays a lot more forward than what he does midfield.
I think the first time in a long time as well, I reckon there's a very decent chance we'll be able to get him for under 600. So if they can go down 100K, that'd be very handy for us down the line. So
for sure.
Hopefully a little bit of a slower start for Bont, but it's good to see him back. Who do I field this week? I can't loop them. Lindsay or Murphy Reid? Who have Freo got?
Melbourne. So they're playing each other.
I'd field Murphy Reid, I reckon, but that's tough.
I'm the same.
Yeah. Lindsay might cop more managed time on ground still. So I'd rather just go Murphy Reid and not have to worry about it.
And he's slowly getting eased back into things, but I think he'll eventually become good. Just a friendly reminder, if you want to donate to the Good Friday Appeal, use this link or search it up yourself. Great cause. Still 65 is the max viewers. We'll stream for another 10 minutes and let's try to get to 70. So tell your mates, recreate an email, whatever the case may be, get some people down here. As we answer some final questions here, David, SDS started big meek this year. Is he going to go bang soon? I really like him this year. I believe Hawthorn's run with the Rucks is very strong over the next few weeks.
One of the best.
We get to play Melbourne and Gold Coast. So I think Meek will fire over the next few weeks. I think he should do pretty well on Easter Monday against Reece Stanley. So I think he is a very interesting option and certainly not the worst you can go with. He's solid as a rock. Stuart J. Fraser, boring to look at the same teams. Need some pods to inject variety. Suggestions. Let's try to give one on each line. Forward line, Dylan Moore, we reckon.
Sam Draper.
Yeah, if you were going to say it, also I was.
Yeah,
Sam Draper. Ruck.
Ruck can be Sam Draper. Forward can be Sam Darcy. I think he's about to take the competition by storm.
Yep, that's true. A mid?
Noah Anderson.
Yeah, Noah Anderson, great shout if you don't want to go around. Then defense,
Max Holmes or Wanganeen Malera.
yeah.
St Kilda have a shit ton of games coming up at Marvel, and Wanganeen Malera loves playing there. And he's added an element to his game where he's averaging a goal a game this year as well, which is bumping up his SuperCoach average.
Are we ever concerned about the slight move that he's potentially had, spending some time higher up the ground on the wing?
I think that only happens when they get smashed and they're trying to try something different. I think him and Sinclair are fairly safe when we're talking SuperCoach.
And I think that's the main thing too, as well, right? We saw, like, obviously there's been a few reports out on like that positional change, and people are worried about, oh, do I grab him in or do I wait a week? And it's, look, really, if anything, it might help Naz, because now he's up the ground and we can see him actually kick those long goals. Like, he just gets on that run, gets the handover, and then plots it. And like, that's the ceiling that we've been waiting for with Naz this whole time. We've seen him be that really safe defensive player that gets your 110s, maybe your 105s pretty consistently, but never really got above 125. If he starts averaging a goal a game, hello 130.
Yeah, we're looking at that now, and also as well, I think most occasions the tag will go to Sinclair before Nas, and they're just going to look to. They always look to get him the ball, so. Yeah, there's a few there for you to get you up the ranks, mate. The Greek Raven, I'm wondering if the tag starts going to Brayshaw, what will the scores look like? It's hard to... has Brayshaw ever been tagged? Well, I guess...
He has been once the back end of last year, and he scored 77. But after the preseason I'm not going to say he's on Dacos's level with his running power, but he's fairly close to that. He just runs all day.
Yep, agree. Yep. Yeah, I think, I don't know what his scores will look like, but you would still think even with the tag against Melbourne, he still can get to 100.
Even if Sparrow goes to him, he'll blow Sparrow up.
We see that the tags come out, and it's maybe a run with role. I think tag might be a bit of a heavy consideration.
Unless your name's Toby Bedford or someone like that.
Yep.
Even James Jordan, James Jordan is the scary tag of SuperCoach. And the last 3 games that he's tagged, he's given up 200s and a 99.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like Jordan's dropped off as a tagger.
What about Mr. Headband himself? He's the best tagger in the game.
Camden McIntosh.
Oh, Camden McIntosh.
the human light bulb.
Yep.
Bruce Dool.
Doc from the Looney Tunes.
He doesn't even look like a real person. He just looks like a mascot.
That's great.
The resemblance is there. Doc from Looney Tunes. It's there.
Nah, keep tagging Camden. You're doing a good job, mate. Scorched Earth. So this is back to the New South Wales
NRL,
Cup. For the NRL. Queensland Cup. So it's like the waffle and the sandful. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Teams have to be 18. Cut to 18, 24 hours before. That's such a better system. It's not even funny.
Yeah. I see a comment down below there, Steve, about Higo's just put it in there. Shout out to Rory Lubb we've seen the types of haircuts and dyes that he's put in throughout the season, which, again, those that watch the Insight channel know that he's our resident cone of the week. So we've got our finalists each week. For those that don't watch, we pick out the blunders of the week or people that mess up throughout the week, and they get nominated for the cone of the week. And then eventually whoever does the biggest mess up or fuck up, as we call it, they get anointed as the cone of the week. And then at the end of the year, we have a cone of the year team. So then we bring up our team of the year, and it's 21 people who have messed up throughout the year. And it started with Rory Lobb last year. So I want to give the guy a shout out, because since he's moved back, he's actually been quite a good footballer, not just for SuperCoach, but for the Western Bulldogs, and helped them straighten up a little bit as well.
Yep.
And his intercept marking ability has been good, but especially with his hairstyle and what he's done for the Good Friday appeal today, kudos to you.
Great stuff, Rory. I think Kane Corns will be quiet for another week with that. He can't bag the hair this week.
On Kane Corns, rookie coach, I'll ask you first. Did you hear him on the commentary last night?
He
was
I'd
nearly
struggle
as
to
bad
listen
as
to
Kelly
Corns.
Underwood.
What was it that bad?
Oh, it was cringy. Yeah,
It was mute worthy. It was literally sit in silence. Preferred. Like,
Yeah,
but it's Kane Corns, man. Like it's I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, I was too busy listening to Lee Matthews, actually. Good to see him back in the commentary box. If Gross is sub, I'll go Murray's instead. Yeah, that's fair. The Greek Raven, between Midfield, Kako or Lindsay, who do we think goes higher? I think Kako.
Kako against West Coast.
Yeah, Kako against West Coast.
Honestly, there is a play here where I was trying to think of loops, but loops only really work if it's like the Gross and you have a Henderson, and you kind of take that sort of matchup. But Lindsay and Kako, look, Kako's due for a spike game, surely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also with Lindsay as well, something's been overlooked is that since Caleb Windsor has come back, he's taken Lindsay's role that he had earlier in the year. So it's messed with a little consistency with Lindsay. And is it going to be another week? We know that he had that knee injury and he's not going to lose too much fitness, but now he's got to work his way back into that rotation as to his best position for SuperCoach. And does he get that wing position back straight away or does he have to work his way back into it?
Yep, exactly. I think Kako was like the 8th most traded out player for the week, and I'm just saying, nah, mate, hold him for another week, guys. Crazy Reid had 36 against Adelaide, and Trainer had 24 a few weeks ago. Yeah, legit. These rookies Zach Reid's now starting to look a lot more natural. I think he was slowly building his way.
I think that Adelaide game did wonders for his growth.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
I was at that game. Oh, we were at that game, Steve.
Yeah, we were at that game, yes.
Oh, that was, as an Essendon supporter, that was a tough watch.
I forgot to loop those two, and didn't matter in the end. Tunstall's been doing well in the VFL, and also Bruce Revel is injured as well. Okay, I didn't know that Revel got injured. Last year, trade downgrade legend. Tunstall's been doing well in the VFL. Yeah. So hopefully we can get an extended run there. Big J, new Sard plays the same old Sard, and they need it. Yeah. I think it's good for Essendon to have another Sard back into the team. He looks good, and if he can just avoid the vests, I think he can be a good rookie for us. He's got good history. AFL won't get rid of the sub. Clubs will complain one of their 5 guys gets injured and it's unfair. 4 is a good number. Then you have a free change player. I don't think we'll get back to 4. It would be good, but
I think it'll stick with 5.
Yeah, I think it's either 5 with the sub or 5 without. So hopefully the sub goes ideally soon. Agreed. Horse just won for the families, and the young player first gamers shouldn't sit on the bench at sub. At least name them on field as a disgrace. I think St Kilda were going to make Liam O'Connell sub first game, but their whole family from Ireland travelled down. So I think that was actually the reason he wasn't sub, and it was Hasty instead in round 1. So ideally they're just not sub.
Yep.
You'd get a lot less debuts if they couldn't be sub. Most of the time they can't run out of games, so it's a liability otherwise.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Apply your time in the VFL and show that you can run out a game, and then you'll get a crack at AFL like it was for however many years before the sub came in.
Yeah, I disagree with that, because when you want to play a sub that can play at any point during the game if an early concussion happens or injury.
I mean, with 5 players on the bench. So hypothetically, and it causes, it's a good debate topic, because regardless of whether you have the sub or not, you could have 5 players on the bench anyway. So if you bring a rookie in, he could still only play 65 to 70% game time, which is less than your 80 to 85%. So you're still hypothetically managing that player through said game, just not giving him the bulk minutes that everyone else has. So you get rid of the vest. He's not sitting on the bench for 3 quarters and then having to adjust to the speed of the game with 1 quarter to go. And then by the time he gets used to the pace of the game's over.
Yeah. No, that is a good point. Yep. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, you nailed that, Horse. I love Nas. Wish I started. Yeah, I wish I went in over Dale but I think Dale can bounce back eventually.
Yep.
I'm a little bit worried Fraser might slowly start to move halfback, but that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
David, if they can't run out a game, they shouldn't be picked. Yeah, that's just what I'm thinking. Sometimes it's good to reward VFL form, but I agree. Yep. I watched Fox instead of Channel 7. Happy with that. Yeah. I got KO, so I just tune into that. Yeah. With my nice new TV that I'll probably have to sell after this stream. I was unboxing it and I had the safety knife and I accidentally cut the knife a little bit on the screen. So now it's not awful, but there's just a tiny like scratch mark on my TV. So it's a bit frustrating, but that's all right. 64, let's get to 70 as we wrap up the stream and wrap up a few of these questions.
Pump it up.
I have to trade Kako or Clay Hall. If I trade Hall, I have no loop if Boyd plays. I'd be... The way West Coast are moving around some of these blokes, like you would think Clay Hall comes back in the next week or two.
Probably.
Just the way they're playing. But
I wouldn't be moving him, no. You picked him for a reason.
Yeah. So who would you trade out of these two?
If I had to trade one.
Yeah. Still Clay Hall?
I mean, Kako has job security, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you don't. When a player gets dropped, you don't know when they're going to come back. I think Clay Hall will eventually come back, but if I had to choose between those two, I'd be trading Hall. David, just a shout out to all your content creators out there. I watched you all. Thank you all for all your time and effort. It's much appreciated. Thank you for jumping on, David. You've been one of the best on grounds for this live stream. So good stuff, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out as well to Freo Tragic. He was in for this live stream, but his Wi-Fi was no good. So he's here in spirit.
That's sitting in the drive-through at Macca's to get it working, unfortunately.
yeah. Hopefully we'll get it running next year. I'll have him back.
He'll have to go knock on the next door neighbour's Wi-Fi and ask him to boost it or something.
Yeah.
Just grab an Ethernet cable and drag it across the yard into the house.
Get the data out. Yep. Dead end. Reid or Trainer at D6 this week. Lean towards Reid against West Coast. So I have that. I know I put Trainer at flex. I think I'm going Reid. I think I'm going Zach Reid. Do you reckon he goes all right this week, Horse?
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
91% disposal efficiency last week. He's growing into the game now. He's starting to get some consistency down back. West Coast allow those chip kicks across the back line as well. Essendon are the number 1 team for kicks back in the defensive half. I think he scores well again.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, ideally it's, especially with no Oscar Allen tonight as well, I'd probably go and Zach Reid will be able to intercept a fair bit. Fardy, hope you're going well, mate. Hey, boys, trading in track, Petrarca. Not sure if I should trade Davidson or Sullivan for the Cats. Probably Davidson. I don't know. O'Sullivan could have another spike.
What do you think, Coach?
Oh, this is a hard one. I think like it Pos has the ceiling to be able to reset his cash gen, but Davidson also does. Ultimately, I'd put it down to, because I think Davidson has more on his head currently, doesn't he? What is Connor O'Sullivan price? They're about the same. They're literally about the same. So there's a little bit more.
Legit?
Connor. Yeah, so Connor O'Sullivan's currently 295, while Davidson sits at 293.
Yep. For me, the worrying thing for Koss was the fact that he got moved forward last week.
Mm.
And I was literally going to say, we saw him move forward. even with no Stewart in the team, he still had a low score, which means they're shifting roles, played a bit more lockdown. Honestly, it's really picking at straws here. Cos has the lower break even, so he has probably more of the chance to make more cash for you if he cleans up some of the scoring. But Davison has Saints this week, so there's all chances he goes 90 and is able to make you more cash moving forward, where Cos gets that lockdown role again. Stewart's probably back in the team, unless, another laid out for X reason 10 minutes before the game.
Yep.
Oh, it's a flip of the coin for me. I can't really.
It's a good issue to have if you got both rookies, though.
Yeah, good issue to have.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
For me, if I had to choose, it would be O'Sullivan. One, you've got Davidson, a favourable matchup, playing indoors at Marvel. It's going to be wet Monday. And the last time O'Sullivan played in the wet, he scored 42.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, good to have another Easter Monday where we have this heat wave and it's still going to be terrible weather. So that's great. I'll be there if you coming down on Easter Monday, say good day to me. Probably Connor O'Sullivan out of those two, but that might be more of a gut feel pick for you, Fardy, if that whoever you're feeling, whatever works better for your structure. Keep O'Sullivan, he has a low break even, will bounce back. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, Big J. Causa, it's like Pearl's horse with the same Wi-Fi thing going on. Yeah, we love Dan, just couldn't get the Wi-Fi running this year, but that's all right. Always a legend of the SuperCoach community. Guys, do you think Hasty will get the chop from the Saints? Don't know.
Anyone could get the chop.
Yeah,
it's hard.
We'll find out at 5 p.m. But you never know. He potentially could or get sub. It seems like the job security is real shaky with that.
For me, I've held him, and I've also held Bo Allen because that gives me a really nice switch between mid and defense as well, and enables me, even if he doesn't play, he's a loop option. So for Bo Allen, I looped in Levi Ashcroft last night, so it was a free loop for me. And then I'm also looping in, if he scores well, Kako tonight, and that's with Aiden Johnson being my loop player there. And then it enables me to loop through my defense as well. So, I think even if he's not playing, he's still going to provide some nice balance for your team that you can switch between defense and mid if you need a loop player.
Yep, I agree. I've held Bo Allen as well. I think we will wrap it up there, guys. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this Good Friday live stream. It's been a pleasure to do it with Horse and Rookiecoach. Hope you two have a great Easter. And go Hawks. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We got a maximum of 65 viewers, so that is awesome. I'll be donating 130 to the Good Friday appeal.
Good stuff
today. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's been awesome. Any final words, Rookie and Horse?
I mean, go Catters for one. Let's Fuckball is dead. Let's just make sure we continue that. But no, make sure you guys enjoy the break, enjoy the family time. Don't eat too much chocolate, or else you pay for it during the week and you'll have a bit of a chalky hangover. And just remember that SuperCoach is just a game, family time. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy the break from work, make the most out of it.
Well said, Coach. On behalf of myself, my family, and the Insight community, we wish everyone a happy Easter. Remember that footballers are humans as well. Sometimes they may stuff up your SuperCoach scores, but at the end of the day, it is just a game and they are only humans. So for any sledges, any of that sort of jazz that happens in the community, it's absolutely not on. We do play SuperCoach because we enjoy it, and there's no room for that kind of jazz really at all. So on behalf of me and my family and the Insight community, we wish you all the best for the break. Hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully stay safe. If you're traveling, stay safe on the roads. But to Rookiecoach, it's nice to meet you, mate. This is the first time we've spoken, and it's been cracking. I've enjoyed the conversation. And to you, Steve, for organising this, mate. Absolute ripper bloke, an absolute gentleman. For those that haven't liked and subscribed yet to Steve's channel, do so. He does provide some really good content. And yeah, for me personally, look forward to working with you, not just this season, but the years to come, mate. So thank you.
Of course, lads. Thank you for the kind words. I'm blushing now, so thank you for that. All good. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. Means a lot. Shout out to Dan for jumping on. Just a bad day with the Wi-Fi. So thank you so much all for tuning in to the Good Friday stream. Hope everyone has a great Easter, and we'll see you on the channel next week. And then I'll for sure definitely be getting you back on the channel throughout time. So yeah. Hope everyone has a good day, and we'll see you in the next stream or video. Have a good Easter, guys. Thank you.
Catches.
Peace.